See what we got. See if the microphone is working. The microphono. I hope so. So far I have nothing, which isn't good. Let's try refreshing it. Sometimes I trim this off. So now we're refreshing it and see if it's working. See if it's sending. Hello, there it is. Okay, we got it. Okay, so let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA. We're going to be talking about mail today, as usual, right? Yeah, the place where we fight for mail. But before we do, let's get over to Tom Fishburne, my friend Tom Fishburne, who lets me talk about his cartoons, which is nice of him. Okay, first party data is coming to town. And this is kind of a follow-up to a cartoon that he did 4 years ago, which we'll touch on as we go. And the little girl says, with iOS privacy changes and cookies going away, how would you even know? How would you even know if I'm naughty or nice? Santa smiles, he says. It's called first party data. Right, because he knows when you're sleeping. He knows if you're awake. You know, I've always said there's no real privacy. The right to privacy is a myth if there is no privacy, right? How can you have a right to something that doesn't exist? Santa knows. So you better be good. You better be good. Because God sees, right? So the follow-up was from a cartoon. We'll get to that. But anyway, 4 years ago, it said, well, if you didn't want me to see you when you were sleeping and know when you were awake, you should have checked your privacy settings. And that was kind of a controversial one. This one actually I did laugh out loud, Tom. I want you to know. I don't always laugh, but this one I actually did because it's nice and punchy. Okay, in the 4 years since the privacy landscape changed dramatically with iOS's privacy changes, Apple's privacy changes alone, a court estimated, cut ad ROI by 38% and caused a 25% drop in mobile ad spend. Wow. The Drum estimated, and there's a link to the article. There's almost always that. The Drum estimated that 70% of consumers have gone dark. They refer to them as the invisible 70. To reach the invisible 70, brands and tech platforms are investing deeply in their first-party data troves, okay, which is what we've been using literally since 1994 when we started with the Hudson Bay Company. So we're coming up on, 2 more years will be 30 years of working with first-party data. It's really, it's really probably the only one that really matters because it's the one that counts for your brand. And the other data is so thin and so weak that you come to conclusions that really aren't warranted. So anyway, it's difficult even to work with first-party data. It's difficult to draw conclusions. It really is. It's way more difficult than people think. And when you use transparent modeling techniques, so you can actually see what the machine learning is doing, which has always been our methodology because I don't trust the computers, you see how weak the data is. I ran across, somebody wrote to me and said that their machine learning program uses 29 different product categories for behavior in order to do personalization. I said, even with tens of millions of transactions, which we work with hundreds of millions of transactions, there's just, most customers only bought once. Sorry. And so to draw conclusions from them, when you only have one order and it isn't for that much and it wasn't that recently, is difficult. It has nothing to do with the quality of your algorithms. It has to do with the thin nature of data. So retailers are using their first-party data to create retail media networks and pool their data. And This is supposed to be the hottest thing in the media world. Okay, it's not new, not by any stretch. And it kind of works a little bit. What it really does is give you proof of life. That's the main thing that it does. So if you have 100,000 customers that haven't bought lately and haven't spent much, maybe they haven't bought from you in 2 years, and we know this in direct mail. I mean, we really have hard numbers. Okay, so we know who got mailed, we know who responded, we know who didn't respond. So we know how many times we've mailed them. We can keep track of that. We can keep a cost associated with that and get a real ROI. But let's say they haven't bought from you in 2 years, or maybe make it 3 years. Okay, so now you have 100,000 of these people that have only bought once, and they only bought in one category, maybe, and they haven't bought lately. So how do you differentiate them? Well, one way that you do it, which is an excellent idea, is just say, well, have they bought from anybody else that's related to us? Okay, so maybe we're selling fishing gear. Is there anybody that sells outdoor, doesn't maybe sell fishing, or sells hunting, that they have bought from? You know, at least we could differentiate the ones who have and the ones who hadn't. Now, the problem is you whittle it down pretty fast to maybe 5,000 of the 100,000. So, you know, if that's all you do, your sales are going to plummet. Okay, so it's important not to just get too crazy. And so then you say, well, maybe let's just try anybody. If they bought from anybody, at least that means they look, well, in mail, it means they look at their mail. Okay, if nothing else. It means they're still alive. Nothing else. And so maybe then you'll get to 40% of them or something like that. And maybe you can take geodemographics and improve and find the top third of the geodemographics that are most likely to buy, and maybe that adds a few thousand. And that's kind of how it works. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. If you work with somebody who you can trust and will tell you what they're doing, we can make sure that it makes sense. When we worked with Musician's Friend, we had Matthew Shaw came flying out for a week, and his job was just to find out if we were out of our minds, or or on the right track, or did it look like it wouldn't do much harm. It might not have been better or worse. We were in such a rush. They sent us their data around the first of the year, and we had to have I think they had about 15 million customers, and I don't know. Usually it's a multiple of that, so 30 million transactions or something, and we had to have that in the mail by the first week of February. So Matthew came out. We had a lot of fun, and we've been connected ever since. But he's a PhD in statistics, and so his job was just to make sure we weren't going to wreck the company in just one fell swoop. And we've worked with companies that have been wrecked by their algorithms and such. And I better not name names, but one of our clients, before they were our client, they installed a new ERP system, and the ERP system selected the oldest, deadest customers, thinking that they were selecting the most recent customers. And it's pretty simple how that works. If you have an algorithm for the number of times someone's bought, okay, so if you bought once, you give them a 1. If you bought 3 to 5 times, let's say, you give them a 2. If you bought 5 to 10 times, they give them a 3. And if you bought, 100 times or more, 100 items or more or something, you give them a 5. So the more items, the better. And the 5s are the ones you want, the multi-buyers and such. But then let's say you have, it's a programmer. They don't really take the time to understand the algorithms, and they look at the recency and they say, okay, well, if you bought within the last 300 days, it would be more like if you bought within the last 90 days, you'd be a hotline. But that's a low number, so we'll give you a 1 for a 90. And if you bought within the last 600 days, that's like 2 years, we'll give you a 5. So you always have selected the 5s. So you select the 5s on recency, and you find out that you're only taking the dead ones from long ago. So anyway, it's important to understand what this stuff is doing, and most people who use it don't. Most marketers don't have a big statistical background, and even if they did, most of the statistics are hidden, especially when you use these cooperatives to do your modeling. So consumers are opting out of their data, but it's what they really want to get rid of is the shared middle, the tech layer in the middle. It's not that they don't want, my wife liked Talbots. She loved Talbots. And, I even talked with the marketing people and I said, my wife loves Talbots. Here's our address. Send her a catalog. We never got a catalog. I don't know why they stopped. Even though they were mailing, they stopped mailing my wife. And I have another friend who was president of a company that had a catalog. And he bought from another catalog. We better not say who. And he hated the product and he sent it right back. And he kept getting mailed for years. Every month he'd get a catalog. And he's like, I hate this company. I don't want them. So make sure it makes sense. And there's a way to fix that. There's a way to fix the customers that bought and immediately returned and you haven't heard from since. And that's more important. How you deal with that, especially if you're selling apparel, is much more important than how you deal with third-party data. Okay, so consumers don't mind a direct relationship with a brand, like a Talbot's or something. Land's End is my favorite. This is Land's End. This is Land's End. I always talk about Land's End, and I'm wearing it almost every day. And I should place my order today or tomorrow or something. But anyway, so I don't mind that they know that I'm a good customer. And I got a pile of Land's End catalogs, and I like looking at them. I wish I had, looked at them more. I should really. Okay, so as we go forward, we need to prove to customers that the value exchange is worth it, and mostly it's because they have good products and they ship on time and they're nice people and they're from Wisconsin. So here's the article. Here's that one that he mentioned, similar to this year. And here's an explanation of zero-party data. The gym shoes you liked in our survey are on sale. Great. Here's first-party data. The gym shoes you browsed last year are on sale. Okay. And we've rarely even used that. We really use, you bought gym shoes 2 years ago. They probably worn out. Would you like some more? And we don't even get specific to gym shoes. But if you sold athletic equipment versus athletic apparel, we might mention athletic apparel. It's just an incremental benefit. And so second party data would be, I hear you have a new gym membership and need any shoes? And that's when it starts to get creepy. And maybe you wouldn't have skipped your workout today if you had new shoes. Third party data. Skipped a workout because we knew he was online when he should have been out there working out. That is really creepy. That's like beyond creepy, right? This is about the line right here. The creepy line. Everything to the right of it is creepy, creepy, creepy. Okay, that's what I would say. Get rid of this, get rid of this, and get rid of this. And if that's the best you can do, then we really should talk about the scalability of mail. The future of advertising, yeah, it's right out of the Minority Report movie with Tom Cruise, where he's going down there and shouting all this stuff at you. And, some of it's totally inappropriate. It's creepy how targeted these Christmas ads are. How do marketers collect so much data on us? And there's the elf on the shelf watching everything you do. And lastly, don't worry, it's only marketers collecting our personal data so they can create more relevant advertising for us. If that were even the case, if that were true, but the truth is all data is historical. And so, one of the big problems with retargeting is I've already bought it because I'm fast, And so if you're targeting me with something I browsed on your site, it's probably too late. Right? Better to have a solid relationship with me over time, like Land's End, right? I started buying from Land's End when I was in college in the early 70s. I was to the store on Milwaukee Avenue down in Chicago. That was their only store, way before they moved to Dodgeville. So, that kind of stuff, the triggering isn't important. It's really not. It's, when I need casual wear, I think Land's End. So, anyway, maybe I can get those cargo pants I've been looking for with the pocket for the phone. Dan, if you're out there, let me know. Anyway, we're gonna have a jingle mingle on Friday of this week, and if you've gotten a message in LinkedIn, I pasted that by hand, and often with another personal note on top of that. We have no way to automate LinkedIn that's any good. It doesn't get me banned. So that's me. That's me doing that by hand, cutting and pasting, and sending you a little message. So I hope you can come. We always have a good time. I have a game thought up, or sort of, which just an icebreaker. But we have some notables already signed up that are well known in the print and mail and advertising world. So that's kind of exciting. A lot of times on these things, you'll meet people you would never be able to meet otherwise, even at a trade show. Because I have some really great friends and we have a lot of fun. So I encourage you and invite your friends too. It's open to everybody. You don't have to be a member of WDMA. Be nice if you were. And we'll be talking mail, and we'll be talking 2023, and whatever we want to talk about. So if you have a particular interest, let me know if you want. But come and be part of it. And it's on Friday afternoon. You don't have anything else to do. You don't want to do serious stuff. So come and meet some people and have some fun. Have a great day. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching.